Wexford.
Are you busy?
You always ask that.
I know how busy you get.
I'm not busy.
Howard rang from Brighton. He's in Brighton. He's going to call in on his way back.
China. I'm going to China.
When?
As soon as it can be arranged.
It's one of my dreams. The imperial palaces, Marco Polo Bridge, the Forbidden City, the yellow roof pavilions of Beijing.
They want advice on crime detection and prevention. Actually, when it's all over, I'm joining Denise in Hong Kong for 2 or 3 weeks. How do you feel about coming along with us?
Reg too?
I'm afraid not. He'll be too busy. I shall need him in Beijing.
Howard, are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. I've been given carte blanche to pick my own team, and I'm picking you as just about the best detection expert I know.
China.
I'm giving you plenty of notice to get your own visa. These group visas are no good, particularly if you want to go wandering off on your own, which I'm sure you will.
Good afternoon.
Oh, you speak English?
Mr. Wexford from Beijing. You've come from Beijing.
Yes, that's right. I've been there for a few weeks working, but now I'm on holiday.
Did you have a pleasant journey?
Well, it was a bit hot.
Well, the hotel is fully air-conditioned, and we have natural hot spring bath.
Oh, just arrived.
Yes?
You English?
Yes.
Oh, jolly good. Too many damn Americans. Nichols.
Wexford.
It's bloody hot. Still, the air conditioning's good here. In fact, it's bloody Arctic when it works. Japanese. Here for long?
No, not long, no.
From Beijing?
Yeah, I came down by train.
Oh, it's my idea of hell. I bet you're ready for a shower and a stiff whiskey. So, perhaps I'll see you later for a drink. There's quite a few of us down there. We're usually in the bar in the evening. Nothing much else to do.
Yes, sir. Oh, 先买茶。
你想买茶？是。 哦，有啊有啊。
Green tea. Tastes good?
哦，good，
很好吃。
很好吃。
多少钱？
2块。
是
很香啊。
Shot through the back of the head.
Didn't mean to miss.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Wexford.
Yes? Who are you?
Sung Lao Zhang, your guide.
Oh,
How do you do?
what do I call you?
Sung.
Son.
Where are we going? Porcelain factory. You will be taken to room to have tea with workman. He will tell you about changes since revolution and give statistics. That is the word. You may ask questions, but be careful what you ask. Unanswered questions should not be perused beyond the bounds of courtesy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Are you English?
Yes,
May I practice my English with you?
of course.
Good. My name is Li Xing Chao, and I am a student. I am going to be a doctor.
Oh, would you like a drink?
Yes. A glass of water, please.
几给我一杯水.
You speak Chinese.
Oh, just a few words.
Yeah. Are you enjoy stay in China?
Enjoying.
And oh, thank you. Enjoying. Are you enjoying your stay in China?
Very much.
The weather is hot.
Yes, it is. I'm not used to it. I came down on the train from Beijing. Oh,
Do you live in London?
close.
Oh. One day I will go to London, and one day I will go to New York.
I'm sure you will.
Have you been to the theater? I think you should go there and see the opera. Perhaps we can go together so I can practice my English with you, and you can practice your Chinese with me.
Hello there. Why don't you come and join us?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I must go. I have an appointment. Thank you for your time, and 再见.
Student?
yes,
Going to be a doctor.
that's right.
Wanted to practice English.
Yes.
Yes.
Beer?
Cheers.
They call her the Marquise of Tai, 2,000 years old.
Was she strangled?
No, not so.
Oh, how did she die then?
Very sick, you know. Bad heart, bad inside. She died from heart attack after eating 120 watermelon seed.
You've been reading the brochure.
Oh, let's go.
I wish you wouldn't keep saying that. Either you should say, shall we go, or are you ready?
Oh, thank you, thank you. I practice. Shall we go? Are you ready?
Good.
I've got it. Come, let's go. Are you ready? Reply now, please.
Go where?
Teacher Training College.
Oh, no, we don't. Oh, no, we don't. We're going back to the hotel for a shower and a siesta.
But there will be no other time for college.
I can't have that.
It is most necessary to see college attended by Chairman Mao.
Not today.
What about women weaving carpet?
Hotel.
Be ready, please, by 7.
What for?
Open air showing a film about history of the revolution.
Oh, no, thank you. Too many mosquitoes.
Then you come to Cinnamon Hotel and see Shanghai Girl. Very good Chinese film about Chinese construction workers. I sit next to you so you don't miss story.
Tolstoy! Hello? Reg!
I'm sorry. It's just that
Are you all right?
Dreams.
Darling?
I keep having the strangest dreams. Well, not dreams, really. Thoughts. There's this woman. I never see her face. She's murdered.
Is there a doctor? in the hotel?
Well, among the tourists, there's sometimes a doctor.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to alarm you. It's just that it's a bit hot. I'm tired. A bit lonely. How are you? Dora?
That was the first thing that attracted me to you. Your stillness. All those years ago, I found it reassuring. I used to watch you, just as I'm watching you now. Oh, you knew I was watching. I wanted to reach out and touch you. But I didn't. I don't know why. When was the last time you touched me?
Do we have to?
When?
You're tired.
You can't remember.
What do you want from me? Well, what? I mean, what do you want?
We hardly ever speak.
This damned heater.
It's terrible silence. It hurts. Physically hurts.
Air conditioning's off again.
If it hadn't been for the children, you'd have left me years ago, wouldn't you?
I'm here.
Are you? Not with her? Not with your actress?
Is that what all this is about?
Did you talk to her? You talked to her. Told her you loved her.
That was 20 years ago.
It was yesterday.
Can't you ever forget?
No. No, I can't.
You know there's no drink here. You know there's none here.
There was a bottle in my bag. What have you done with it?
There was no bottle.
There was a bottle!
It's the heat. Why don't you take a shower?
I need a drink.
You know what you said to me.
I don't give a damn what I said.
You remember what you said.
Just one drink.
That when you get like this,
One
I was
drink.
to ignore all the pleading.
Just one little drink.
No,
Please.
no.
You've hidden it, haven't you?
It's been 3 weeks.
The bottle.
3 weeks of sobriety.
It's here somewhere.
That's why we came away.
I wish to God we hadn't.
I've seen you about the hotel. Louis family.
Oh, Reg Wexford.
Are you expecting anyone?
No, no.
May I join you?
Please do.
Drink?
No, I've just got myself.
Beer. Beer. I'm escaping.
Escaping?
For my lot. I don't reckon they'll make it sane to Canton.
Yeah, don't sound as if you're enjoying yourself.
It's sheer bloody murder.
Some holiday.
Dear God in heaven, I'm not on holiday. I'm working. I'm the tour leader. I brought this lot here by train.
Where from?
Calais.
Calais?
36 days I've been in train shepherding this lot across Europe and Asia. I nearly lost one. They uncoupled the carriage she got left. Jumped out yelling, came running up the track.
Which one?
What?
Which one was she?
The one with the cigarette holder. The two with her never talked. Husband and wife, never heard more than 10 words between them. The one in blue is an alcoholic on the wagon. Woman with her never takes her eyes from her. Brings her down to the bar every evening, makes her sit down, drinking lemonade. The one in floral print? She can't leave the men alone. To my certain knowledge, she's had 4 in various wagon lits en route.
Where are you going next?
Hong Kong. Leaving the train tomorrow night.
So am I.
Tolstoy ran out when I opened the back door. Ran out. Went to vacuum the old carpet. Found a broken vase. Went past the dining room. Didn't see. Didn't see her at first. First time I've known him not be here as well as her. Went upstairs and looked. I mean, he might have been dead and laying up there too.
Wexford 先生
出去了，
什么时候去哪里？
刚刚出去，他没说到哪儿。
他未来的时候叫他等着我。Where have you been?
Well, I always have a walk before breakfast.
I needed to talk to you.
So? Talk.
You will not mind coming on bus with party.
What party? We're leaving tonight.
Last visit before leaving China.
Oh. Why should I mind coming on the bus?
It is not economic to drive 50 kilometers for one man.
No, I understand that.
This is very wasteful.
Have a cup of tea.
Much better you come on bus with party. Nice English people. Right?
Right.
Right.
Strong? So...
What are the crops?
Oh, peanut, aubergine, castor oil plant, cassava, taro, soya beans.
I've never seen so much water.
And the greenness.
It takes something to beat the English countryside.
English countryside. Well, that's different. The scale, the focus, the detail.
Are you a countryman?
I wish I were.
You say that with a kind of longing?
Well, perhaps one day.
I try to talk to him. I try very hard to talk to him. He's so remote. So closed.
He doesn't talk to anyone. It isn't just you. It's as if he's grown weary of words. But not poetry. Never poetry.
Strange the things you remember and take through your life with you. I saw an old woman. An old woman with a black hookah hat. I think she had bound feet.
In a country of such beauty, what a perverted sense of beauty. Well, thank God they don't do that anymore.
I just looked at her for a moment, and I turned away and looked back a minute later, and she'd vanished.
Well, this is China.
Shoot not the wild geese from the south. Let them northward fly. When you do shoot, shoot the pair of them, so that the two may not be put asunder.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we go to birthplace of Mao Zedong, great spiritual leader. I tell you now about him before we get there. Mao Zedong came from a peasant family. He was born in Yunnan province, in village of Shaosham in 1893. Getting lost again, Mr. Wexford.
I was not lost this morning. I was merely in a different place.
You share compartment with me. I'll make sure you not get lost.
Degrees under 100.
Restaurant car open at 8. Drinks will be served. Beer, red and white wine, Mauturi, maybe Japanese whiskey.
Oh, it's hot.
Train get going, open window, switch on fan.
Excuse me. I wonder if I could possibly trouble you a moment.
How can I help?
Well, I don't know how you find it, but it's so awful constantly trying to make oneself understood to the Chinese.
Well, a few words of their language might help.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they do. Oh, by the way, I'm Lois Knox, and this is Hilda Avery.
How do you do?
My name is...
Wexford. I spied it on your luggage.
Where's Wexford?
And now, please, do you think it would be awfully sweet and make our fan work?
Oh, I couldn't make mine work, and then the attendant showed me how. There's a switch under the table here. There you are.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. And since you're so clever, do you think you'd be even more of an angel and find out how to turn this bloody radio off?
We hate it, don't we, Lois?
There should be a knob there, but it's broken and it won't move.
We won't get a wink of sleep.
Well, I couldn't have if I had a pair of pliers.
Where's Song?
I haven't seen him for a while.
They're never here when you want them. Oh, do have some tea, will you?
Or some lasosha.
We haven't anything stronger, I'm afraid. Hilda's drying out, aren't you, darling? And we don't think it's wise to have spirits about such an awful temptation. Oh, we should be found stark staring mad in the morning.
Yes, well, I'll see what I can do for you.
A restaurant will be open at 8 o'clock.
Why do you seem to think that I eat and drink all day long?
Pardon?
Immediately you see me, you tell me what time the restaurant will open.
You're not hungry, thirsty?
No.
What then?
I want a pair of pliers.
Oh, you get plenty cigarettes when restaurant open.
No, pliers. For pulling nails out of walls.
Why you pull nails out of walls?
I don't want to pull nails out of walls.
Oh, you say that. 有没有见到磨面？没有吗？
没有，这个可以吗？
可以。Will this do?
No, no, those are tweezers.
Tweezers?
For plucking eyebrows.
What is plucking, please?
Taking hair from.
Why you take hair from eyebrows?
Women do it.
What for?
To make themselves look beautiful.
Western women very peculiar.
是的，真是。
Communists make a lot of claims about how they've got rid of crime. Where did I get my watch pins? And my Diners Club card, and all that currency? Oh, not in Europe. Oh, no. In the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Oh, you clever, clever man. You godson.
From a sleeping angel. Oh, excuse me, I just want to get...
Oh,
Oh,
good.
this is Mr. Nichols.
Oh, yes, I know. We met. I didn't expect to see you on a train in China.
Now, Hong Kong seemed inviting.
Oh.
Company's more pleasant.
There.
You wonderful, wonderful man.
Restaurant is open. Please to follow me.
Oh, yes, sir.
Mind ahead when you get up.
All right, Lois.
Rich, are you all right?
Yes. Yes.
You looked as though you'd seen a ghost.
I'm all right.
I thought we'd lost you.
I think I could sleep a little if I tried now. Don't be long, Lois. You'll wake me up if you come bursting in at 12 o'clock.
Darling, I never burst. Oh, do be an angel and give her a hand. This awful tray does jerk so.
Allow me.
Oh, thank you. It was kind of you.
Oh, I was ready for the march up.
Where do you think we are?
Still somewhere in the Hunan province. Here we are. Good night.
I'm not such an old soak as she makes out, you know. Good night.
Good night.
Your first train?
Second. I came down from Beijing. Are you finishing your journey by train?
Good God, no. Train out of China to Hong Kong, and then I'm flying home first class. Luxury.
Didn't you enjoy your holiday?
Oh, in some ways, tremendously. 6 weeks is really too long. But I'm needed at home. I'm beginning to feel guilty.
Oh, why?
I'm a GP. I haven't had a holiday in 3 years, so I got in a locum and I've taken all the leave owing to me.
Do you practice in London?
No, Winchester.
Oh, no. I'm very close in Kings Markham.
Good heavens. Oh, then the Knightons are even closer to you. They live in a place called Sewingbury.
The Knightons?
The barrister and his wife. Oh, they hardly ever talk.
This is Song's address in case you come back to China.
I would have thought you would have been glad to see the back of me.
Back front, you my friend.
I shall miss you too.
Come, let's go.
Come on, Ray. Come and shoot.
Mr. Wexford, won't you join us?
Oh, thank you.
I don't think you've been properly introduced, have you? This is Mr. and Mrs. Knighton that I was telling you about.
Reg Wexford.
And Mr. Gordon Vinald.
How do you do?
Hello.
Mrs. Knighton.
Hello. And Miss Irene Bell.
How do you do? I believe we're neighbours.
Oh, yes.
Kings Markham.
Yes. Gordon is an antique dealer. He was just telling us about jade.
Yes, I was just saying jade is always cold to the touch. And that's one of the very best ways for the amateur to tell if it's jade or not. If it stays cold in a hot room or against the skin, chances are that that will be jade. I only deal in antiques, and you can't take jade at more than 120 years out of this country. So, no, there's not really antique enough for me. I have bought a few small pieces, but... I say, look at that.
I had gone aboard and was minded to depart when I heard from the shore your song with step of foot. The pool of peach blossom is 1,000 feet deep, but not so deep as the love in your farewell to me.
I don't know about you, Irene, but I'd like to go to my room. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Excuse me.
Goodbye, Miss Bell.
Goodbye, Mr. Wexford. It was so nice talking to you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I suppose we must say goodbye.
Safe journey.
Mr. Wexford, have a good journey home.
You too. Back to the surgery. Well, bye-bye.
So help me good. When I get home, first abroad I'm going ever again will be the Isle of Wight.
house. Soft seat, right? And a hard seat. See, you will tell me if I'm becoming a bore, won't you?
At least we're spared the photographs.
Oh.
Reg. You all right?
Sometimes we talk too easily about dying.
Shall I put the light on?
Nope. Darkness has its uses.
It's late.
Maybe too late.
For what?
Do you believe in premonition?
I don't know. Don't think so.
There's a sinister elegance about murder.
Murder?
I saw a woman murdered. Over and over again. All the time I was in China. I was going to say I dreamt it. But it wasn't a dream. It wasn't life betrayed by imagination. I think I saw the truth.
A Chinese woman?
No, English. Lives about 10 miles from here. I watched her come out of her house this afternoon.
Have you said anything to anyone?
You're the only one that knows.
Must have been exhausting, China. Hot, lack of sleep.
Should I tell her? What should I tell her? I'd sound absurd.
Well, don't sit here in the dark. Come and have a drink.
Do you know what the Chinese call dreams?
What?
The forgotten language of God.
This dream woman of yours, do you know her name?
Yes, it's Knight. She and her husband live out near Soingbury.
Oh, that cat. Tolstoy? Tolstoy? Tolstoy, where are you? Come on. Oh, wretched cat. Tolstoy? Tolstoy, where are you? Come on. Tolstoy.
You can't go on like this.
I'll be all right.
It's ever since you got back from China. I don't know how you can work with no sleep.
Tolstoy! Tolstoy!
Right. Get your things on, Reg. Tell me, do you get these dreams every night?
Not every night.
How often?
Nearly every night.
Always the same dream?
Exactly, in every detail.
Can you describe it?
Murder, woman.
Chinese?
No.
From here?
Perhaps.
But the dream started in China.
Yes.
How soon?
Well, towards the end.
And this woman that you say, is she,
Look, I find it difficult to talk about.
Was it very hot?
Yeah, sometimes it took your breath away.
Ah, well, that could be it.
Well, then why...
Why here?
Yeah.
Well, your body's still in China. It hasn't readjusted yet. The heat, the food. What did you drink?
Oh, some beer. Mostly tea. It was the only thing that kept you cool.
Green tea?
What?
Green tea?
Yes.
How much did you drink?
Well, I used to make it myself.
How many times a day?
6, 7.
Green tea's lethal in those quantities. It can be an hallucinogenic. You're not still drinking it, eh?
Well, I brought some home.
Well, get rid of it. Didn't anyone in China ever warn you? Right, I better give you something to settle it. Reg, you really are a bloody fool.
sir. There's a woman been found dead over in Sowerby. She's been shot, sir.
Right. Sowerby?
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. Wexford in?
No, sir. I don't know where he is.
Murdoch and the team?
They're on the way, sir.
Tolstoy ran out when I opened the back door. I come in here, put the kettle on.
And you hadn't seen anything before then?
Nothing. Not a thing. Not until I went past...
Take me from making the tea.
I went to vacuum the old carpet. I found a broken vase. Didn't think nothing of it. Then I went past the dining room. Didn't see her at first. And I saw her. Screamed.
Where's Mr. Knighton?
This is the first time I've known him not be here as well as her. I went upstairs and looked. I mean, he might have been dead and laying up there too, for all I know. Someone had been up there. Made a right mess.
Morning, sir.
Morning. There's been a murder, Gov, or sounds like a murder. Where? Sowerby.
What name?
A Mrs. Adela Knighton. She'd been shot.
Mr. Wexford, won't you join us? I don't think you've been properly introduced, have you? This is Mr. and Mrs. Knighton that I was telling you about.
Where's Wexford?
Hello.
I believe we're neighbours. Kingsman.
Yes.
You okay, Gov?
Huh?
Well, you seemed a bit...
Oh, is Inspector Bird now there?
Yes, he went
Right,
straight
I'm on my way.
What sort of valuables did they keep in the house?
In a box. In the bedroom.
Do you know what was in it?
Pearls. She had pearls.
Yeah?
Pretty little locket.
Gold?
Diamond earrings.
Mike?
Excuse me. It's your murder. Your premonition. Exactly. A shot in the back of the head.
Where's the body?
She must have been shot at close range. Some of the hair at the back is singed. It looks like she heard a sound. There was a vase broken. Came down to see what it was, and he crept up behind her and shot her. The bedroom has been turned upside down. A jewel box is missing, and the fuses have been pulled.
The doctor?
It's been and gone. It's a burglary that went wrong. He came in through a cut pane. I'll show you. Here.
Excuse me, sir. Looks like they threw them away, sir.
Well, why kill for them and then throw them away?
Panic?
Well, he shot her first, then went upstairs and searched the bedroom, found the box, and then panicked. Well, why didn't he panic when he shot her?
Can I go home now?
This is Mrs. Thompson. She found the body. This is Chief Inspector Wexford.
Can I?
Just a couple of questions.
I don't know anything.
Do you know where Mr. Knighton is?
I told him no.
Do they have children?
Yes.
Where do they live?
But the daughter in Sowingbury, that I do know. Don't ask me where you'll find the sons, all off abroad somewhere. Well, there might be numbers in that book.
What's the daughter's married name?
That I wouldn't know.
Are you sure?
I've no reason ever to be told that, I.
Well, you might have heard.
Jennifer... Oh, Mr. Knighton could tell you.
Mr. Knighton isn't here.
Can I go now?
We do know where she lives, don't we?
Yes, we do.
It's been a terrible shock.
Sergeant Martin.
Sir?
I want Knighton's daughter found. She lives in Sowingbury. And then I want a house to house from here to Sowingbury and over the other side from Tatto Vale through to Ponsley.
That's the daughter, sir. Anything else?
Yes. I want Mr. Knighton found.
Sir.
What was she like?
I didn't pay much attention to her. It was quiet. So was he. Well, they both were. Hardly ever spoke to each other. Fanning pointed that out to me.
Fanning?
Yes, he was the tour leader of a group of English tourists.
Mrs. Thompson says it's the first time she can recall Knighton being away overnight.
Well, he wasn't a burglar. She didn't get out of bed and come downstairs for a burglar. And a burglar didn't put his gun to her head and shoot her. It wasn't like that.
Someone would like to have us think it was. I'd like to know where Mr. Knighton is.
He reads a lot of poetry.
Shoot not the wild geese from the south. Let them northward fly. When you do shoot, shoot the pair of them, so that the two may not be put asunder.
Towards the end, in the hotel in Hong Kong, we were all in the bar. There's a beautiful Caucasian girl. Quite stunning. With an older woman. They picked up their drinks and they went out towards the balcony. He saw them.
I had gone aboard and was minded to depart when I heard from the shore your song with step of foot. The pool of peach blossom is 1,000 feet deep, but not so deep as the love in your farewell to me.
Was it the girl?
She was quite beautiful.
It was the girl?
I don't think so.
Perhaps Knighton murdered her.
Perhaps.
Murdered his wife. Ran off with a younger woman.
Had a row with her, shot her.
Could be out of the country by now. Probably is.
Just a plane ticket away.
It's all made so damned easy these days.
Why did he shoot her in the back of the head?
It's going to bother you quite a lot, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Madeline? 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 What on earth?
Detective Chief Inspector Wexford, sir, and this is Inspector Burden.
Well, has there been a robbery or something?
Something very serious has taken place, sir.
What are you talking about?
You have to prepare yourself, sir.
My wife?
Mr. Knighton.
Where's my wife?
It appears that somebody broke in here last night, sir.
Please, sir.
She's been shot. We don't yet know how it happened.
Is she...
She's dead, sir. I'm very sorry.
Can I sit down?
Come in here, sir. Sit down here.
I'm afraid I have a few questions to ask you, sir.
China. I remember.
Where were you last night?
I remember you.
Last night, sir.
King's Markham.
Please answer the question, sir.
Is she still here? Still in the house, is she?
If you would answer my question, sir, we would get through this painful business much faster.
Answer your questions, you let me see her.
You wouldn't want to, sir. She was shot in the head.
Oh, my God.
I know that this is painful, sir.
Seeing a friend in London. Why do you ask? Oh, my God, I thought you said a burglar.
What's the name of your friend, sir?
Henry Lacey. He was giving a dinner party at a club to which both he and I belong.
Which club, sir?
The Palimpsest in St. James's. It was to celebrate his 50 years at the bar. I was invited. On such occasions, I stay in London.
Did you stay at the club?
No. With a friend who has a flat in Hyde Park Square. Dobson Flint. Excuse me.
I'll take the phone, sir.
Thank you.
Hello? Yes. Yes, he's just come in. I'll take the phone to him. Hang on. It's your daughter, sir.
Thank you. Jennifer. Yeah, the police have told you. Have you talked to Rod? Yes, I'm all right. Yes, do come. Thank you.
How many children do you have, sir?
A daughter and 3 sons. 1 son in America and 1 in Turkey.
Sergeant Martin, King's Markham CID, sir.
Oh, yeah?
We've been making a few inquiries about last night, sir. Were you up late?
Me? No. I'm pushing on a bit now. Need me rest. What's happened?
Are you the only one in the house, sir?
It's my daughter.
Is she in?
She weren't out either.
Could I have a word with you, sir?
Mary? Mary?
King's Markham CID, miss.
Yeah,
Were you out last night?
yeah,
Late?
no.
How late?
10?
Did you see anyone?
No,
You didn't see anyone at all?
no.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary? A car parked where it shouldn't have been?
No.
And you were in all night, sir? An early night, you said, sir?
I'm never out after 9. Quick drink at the pub, back home, bed.
Right. Thank you, sir.
You lying old bugger. You was out half the night.
It's so awful. I feel it just can't be happening to us. I remember Daddy saying what a horrendous lot of murders there actually are, but he said not to worry because only a fraction of those murders happen to people like us. They're nearly all confined to the lower classes. And now poor Mummy. You lead a decent life and try to set some sort of standard, and then an appalling thing like this has to happen.
You must try to relax.
Oh, don't be absurd.
There'll be questions.
To us.
Let me answer them, okay?
Daddy?
That will be Jennifer. Oh, thank goodness you're here. Stay as long as you want.
Rod's coming from London.
The police are here.
They haven't been to...
No, but they'll ask you questions, and they are rather blunt. This is my daughter Jennifer and her husband Angus.
Detective Chief Inspector Wexford. This is Inspector Burton.
Was it burglary?
There are signs of a break-in.
Well, it wouldn't have been hard breaking in.
What's missing?
Well, some jewelry has been recovered.
Recovered? Already?
Yes, it was found in the garden.
Pearls?
Yes.
And a gold bracelet?
Yeah.
That was my grandmother's. I can remember my mother's earrings. She always thought it was dreadfully vulgar to have pierced ears.
Yeah, he must have panicked, thrown them away.
Well, that is one interpretation, sir. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to make a list of all your mother's jewelry,
Yes, of course.
just in case any of it is missing. Could you tell me where you were last night, Mr. Norris?
What sort of time have you in mind? You really ought to sit down.
Last night.
But what does night mean? What time did all this take place?
Shall we just say last night for the present, sir?
I ask because it so happens that I took my wife out for a while during the evening.
You took me out? What he means is that we went for a walk down to the river and back and had a drink at the Miller's Arms. The usual extent of our wining and dining these days.
Yes, well, Chief Inspector, we went to bed early.
The doctor gave me a mild sedative. I sleep like a log. And lately we've been taking the phone off the hook. So if poor Mummy had tried to get through...
Dad, I can't stop crying. This is my son, Rod. Chief Inspector Wexford and Inspector Burton. Yes, I'm sorry.
Hello, sis.
Awful.
I don't know what use I can be here, but if there's anything I can do...
Just routine, sir?
Yes.
Where were you last night?
Up for most of it, and my wife and the au pair. My youngest kid was ill. Mumps, actually. Poor little scrap. We can phone Julian in Washington now.
I've sent Colin a fax to Ankara.
A smart little bastard. What sort of time do you have in mind? But she put him down.
Good, it's here. Apparently, death took place between 2 and 4 a.m.
Ought to be tomorrow before they know the type of gun.
What did you make of night?
Well, I've never seen anyone turn that white before.
Fixed himself up with a wonderful alibi, didn't he? Hardly ever spends a night away from home. But when he does, his wife is murdered. What about going for a meal?
What you saw of them in China? Their marriage, was it,
Well, marriage. It's a funny old carry-on, isn't it? Hard to say. Wish I'd taken more notice of the Knightons in China. I think it would have been profitable. All I could remember about Knighton is him looking as if he'd seen a ghost. He left home at 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. He called for a car to take him to King's Markham. And he caught the 327. He has a car of his own, but his wife had borrowed it. And if she'd run him to King's Markham, it would have delayed her. Knighton arrived at Victoria at 4:15. He took a tube to Lancaster Gate and walked round to his friends. Dobson Flint had come home earlier so as to let him in. Now, this dinner at the Palimpsest Club was from 7 to 7:30. At 10 to 7, they took a cab from Hyde Park Square. And after having had dinner and socializing, they left at 11:30. They walked home, and they were in bed by midnight.
Next morning they were both up by 8. Dobson Flint left in after 9. Knighton caught the 9:40 from Victoria.
It's all so precise, isn't it?
Do you suspect him?
I don't know who else to suspect.
Burton?
There's a Mr. Angus Norris on the phone for Mr. Wexford. Can you take it? I can't find him.
Yes, put him through.
Hello?
Mr. Norris, this is Inspector Burton. Mr. Wexford's out at the moment.
Can you come and see me?
When?
Right away.
I thought I ought to tell you about Adela's will.
Her will?
She had a substantial sum of money. 800,000 to be divided equally between the 4 children.
Did her children know?
Oh, yes.
200,000 each.
I didn't want to discuss it on the phone, you understand?
Why?
Why?
Are you telling me this?
I should have thought it was obvious. Her will.
You mean one of her children might have killed her?
Don't be absurd.
Ah,
where have you been?
When you were out, Angus Norris rang. I went to see him. She left a will. 800,000 between the 4 children.
Well, what came over him so suddenly?
That's what I thought. I pushed him a bit.
And?
He got a bit tight when I suggested one of the children might have done it.
Well, one of the sons is in Washington, the other in Ankara. The third has a solid alibi. His wife, the au pair, and his child is ill. And I jib a bit at the idea of a woman 7 months pregnant killing her own mother.
What about him?
Oh, what's his motive?
The 200,000 his wife will inherit.
Which he told you about.
He's a shifty little bastard.
Well, he's an assistant solicitor. But he's obviously no fool. He'll be a partner one day. And they live in Spring Hill Lane, and that's hardly a milieu for people without money.
So, we're back to burglars.
Yeah. Now, come on. We're going to be late.
knew Adela when she was a girl. Clever girl. We all met at university. I must say, this is the most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Mr. Knighton said you were an old and trusted friend, sir.
Well, I'll go and see him as soon as I can, but I got involved in a rather complex trial.
We'd like to ask you some questions.
About Tuesday night?
The latter part, sir. The club and after dinner.
It was a fine, clear night, and we resolved not to take a cab. We walked it. Arrived on my doorstep at precisely 2 minutes to midnight. 28 minutes. Well, 28 minutes from St. James's to Bayswater Road is not bad for two men no longer in their first or even second youth. Mr. Knighton and I took a whiskey and repaired to our beds at approximately 20 past 12. 7:45, I got up, had a bath, girded my loins, and was about to enter Mr. Knighton's room with a cup of China tea when he appeared fully dressed.
Dressed?
He always was an early riser.
I should like to see the flat, sir.
Is this really necessary?
With you, sir.
I don't have much time.
Oh, we have a car downstairs. You won't be much inconvenienced. Is this the room that Mr. Knighton used?
Yes, this is the guest bedroom.
Are you a heavy sleeper, sir?
Well, as you can hear, I seem to sleep through the worst traffic in London, so I should say yes, I am.
As I was coming in, I noticed that you could go in and out the back way.
I never use it.
Were Mr. and Mrs. Knighton a happy couple?
Absolutely devoted. They simply adored each other. They lived for each other. I can't imagine either of them having eyes for anyone else.
We'll run you back.
I'll get a taxi. They know the back way to the Bailey. Quicker. Faster. Old Bailey, please.
Sorry, John. He laid it on, didn't he?
About their mutual devotion?
Didn't like the question at all.
I can't imagine them having eyes for anybody but each other. It's not the sort of phrase that springs to mind when discussing the domestic happiness of two people over 60.
Why do you think he said it?
You know, Mike, I've got a funny feeling that something may be happening in this case which ought to be happening to people 30 years younger than the Knightons.
Do you mean a crime of passion?
A less likely candidate for passion than Mrs. Knighton I've yet to see.
But that pompous ass feels it.
Maybe. Yes, I think he does.
He suspects his best friend.
He's a barrister who lives on possibilities, and Knighton could have done it. Could have driven down to Hampshire during the night, killed her, and been back here before Dobson Flint was fiddling about with his lap sandshrew song.
There's no train between the 12:55 and the 6:30.
Well, train's no good to him. No, how would he get from King's Markham to Sawingbury? No, car.
His car was in the garage at Fatto Hall Farm.
Well, what was he doing between arriving at Victoria at 4:15 and getting here to Hyde Park Square at 5:10? That's 55 minutes to get from Victoria to Lancaster Gate. But there was something he could have been doing.
Renting a car.
All he had to do is to book himself a car by phone, collect it when he arrived at Victoria Station, drive it up here, Hyde Park Square, park it on a meter. The meters are finished by 6:30 and he's there for the night. And after Dobson Flint has gone to bed, he leaves the house, taking the key from the pewter plate.
Picks up the car and drives to Sawingbury. It'd take an hour at that time of night, no traffic.
He cuts out the pane of glass, lets himself in through the front door, wakes Mrs. Knighton by breaking the vase. That draws her downstairs. He kills her, runs upstairs, gets the jewels in the case, and as he's going out, he discards the jewellery and the case to make it look as if the burglar had panicked. Then he walks back down the road to where he's parked the car, drives back up here, and it's still only 3:30.
He's taking a hell of a risk.
Why?
Well, suppose Dobson Flint had gone into his room.
Never. Can you imagine it? Those sort of people? Just not done.
Thanks very much. Keep the change. I don't know what to say.
You still can't believe it.
Neither can I.
Is Caroline at the house?
Grace has mumps.
Oh, poor little soul.
Well, can I help you with the bags?
No, there isn't much.
We just threw a few things into a couple of cases and rushed to the airport.
It's a long time since we were all together.
You look tired.
Oh, Jennifer.
What's this?
Those awful policemen again.
Look, you go inside. I'll deal with them. Go on.
Sorry to disturb you.
Julian and Barbara have just arrived from the airport. Please, be as brief as possible. My father's very frail at the moment.
I quite understand.
Julian, shall we go into the sitting room?
Yes, of course.
This way? Yeah.
I'm so sorry to disturb you again, sir.
Well, you have your work to do.
We'd like to look around the house again, if we may.
Do you want anyone with you?
Oh, no. We'll find our own way.
Good. Inspector, do you think it's possible that this man expected to find a safe?
I beg your pardon?
Well, there was, in fact, a safe in this house at one time.
It's while we were still using the house as a weekend retreat. On Sunday nights, before we left to go back to Hampstead, I used to put our few valuables in the safe.
But when the break-ins became so frequent in Sowingbury, you had it taken out, didn't you?
Well, it did rather seem to advertise the fact that one had rather special things to protect.
He could have been looking for the safe.
Inspector, is it possible that my wife was shot by accident? That this man threatened her with a gun if she refused to say where the safe was, and she said there was no safe, and the gun went off by accident?
I'm sorry, sir. Your wife was shot from behind, quite deliberately.
I think that's enough, don't you? Come on, Dad.
She was looking at photographs of China. Are there any more?
In the drawer?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Shoot not the wild geese from the south. Let them northward fly.
When you do shoot, shoot the pair of them, so that the two may not be put asunder.
He looks very ill.
You can't fake that.
I'll get some more water.
Oh, so sorry.
Excuse me.
I'd like to keep these for a couple of days, if I may, sir.
Are they pertinent?
Mr. Knighton?
Adela's photographs. Yes, she was always snapping away. Yes, of course, you can have them.
I've never heard of anything so ludicrous. Holiday snaps.
I'll look after them, sir. Oh, by the way, sir, did you ever possess a gun?
When I first came here, a shotgun. I sold it 5 years ago.
Could you have the courtesy to telephone next time you come?
36 days I've been in train shepherding this lot and a dozen more across Europe and Asia. Nearly lost one. The uncoupled a carriage, she got left. She jumped out, yelling, came running up the track.
Which one was she?
The one with the cigarette holder.
Excuse me. I'm Detective Inspector Burden, King's Markham CID.
Where's that?
On Tuesday, did you hire a car to a Mr. Adam Knighton?
28th. No.
Any other day recently? Knighton?
No. No Knighton.
He was, 65, silver hair, a good-looking man.
I would have remembered him.
Are you sure?
I like older men.
Miss Bell, isn't it? Detective Chief Inspector Wexford.
You didn't tell any of us you were a policeman in China.
No.
Oh, very odd. That must have come as quite a shock to Adam on top of everything else.
Could we have a talk?
What now? Well, I'm not going back to the house. People don't mean to be irreverent, but somehow they forget what they're doing there. You know, if someone starts laughing before you know where you are, it's a party.
Do you think a cup of tea would be relevant?
I could do with a good hot cup of tea.
You said you were company for Mrs. Knighton. Wasn't her husband company enough for her?
Was it a happy marriage, Miss Bell? Didn't someone once say the state of marriage is unhappy only insofar as life itself is unhappy?
Samuel Johnson.
Of course.
What do you say?
In general, I don't think much of it, Mr. Wexford. It goes on too long. If it could be for, say, 5 years, it would be an excellent institution. But who can stand the same person morning, noon, and night for 40 years? You think Adam killed Adela, don't you?
Nearly all murders are domestic.
Adam wouldn't point a gun at anyone, let alone fire it. I once saw him get stung by a wasp trying to put it out of the window just because he wouldn't kill it. He didn't love Adela, but he certainly didn't hate her enough to kill her.
Enough?
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
This isn't real.
Replica.
My God, it looks real.
It does, doesn't it? Took it off a young tearaway. Threatened a nightclub owner with it.
The same gun?
It's the one that killed Mrs. Knighton.
Lethal little beast, isn't it? Oh, Reg. How was the funeral?
Oh, it was useful.
Beats me why people who aren't religious have funerals. Boring, awkward, embarrassing affairs with no grace or beauty about them, especially now the old prayer book's more or less gone.
Well, you have to have a funeral, don't you?
Well, if you mean by law, certainly not. You can always get your undertaker to do a quiet little disposal job when the crematorium's not busy.
He was sitting in the bar, drinking Casio wine. And then he suddenly saw something that utterly astonished him.
The girl.
What girl?
There was a beautiful girl.
No, it wasn't a girl. And why the poetry?
You've lost me, Reg.
He started reciting Chinese poetry. Why don't you ask Knighton?
I will. That look. I know that look.
You, hear about villains being sent down by a judge and swearing to get back at him later?
Oh.
Did strike me it might be something like that.
Knighton wasn't a judge.
No, but someone convicted of a crime in a case where he was prosecuting.
So Mrs. Knighton was shot to get revenge on her husband.
Some men's lives wouldn't be worth living without their wives.
Shoot not the wild geese from the south. Let them northward fly. When you shoot them, shoot the pair of them together so that they are not put asunder. Chinese poem. Tang Dynasty, 9th century.
We keep coming back to China.
The key to all this was in China.
Can't very well go back there.
No. But I can visit all the people with whom Adela Knighton traveled across Asia. Detective Chief Inspector Wexford, Kingsmarkham CID.
Oh, well, do come in.
I'd like to see Mr. Vinald.
Mr. Vinald isn't... I'm afraid he's at a sale.
Oh, well, when will he be back?
Well, not until this afternoon. Would it help to see Mrs. Vinald?
Mrs. Vinald?
Well, I know she's in.
Oh.
She called just a couple of minutes ago.
I didn't know there was a Mrs. Vinald.
No.
There is?
Well, they were only married recently. Shall I give her a ring?
Oh, yes, please.
Their house is just round the corner. It's in Seoul Villas. Now, you go round the corner, right, then right again, and it has a beige front door.
Hello, I'm Pandora Vinald.
I saw you in China.
China? You were in China? I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, you wouldn't.
Were you with Gordon?
No, not with him.
I usually have such a good memory for faces. Where was it?
In Hong Kong, the hotel bar. You were with an older woman.
Oh, my mother.
You went out on the balcony.
Oh, that's right, we did. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Wexford. There were just so many people and...
Australia?
New Zealand, Auckland. Oh, well, look, they're standing here on the doorstep. Please, come on.
Thank you.
Did you travel in the train across Asia?
No, I flew to China for a conference and then I took some leave.
Oh, we met up with a train party in Hong Kong. Well, that's where I met Gordon. I was doing a kind of world tour, you know, Auckland to Jakarta, Jakarta to Singapore, Singapore to Beijing. It was going to be Bombay after Hong Kong. But after I met Gordon, well, London suddenly seemed that much more attractive.
Have you seen any of the people on the train since you got back?
No, we haven't. Oh, please sit down. Gordon says holiday friendships are a dead loss. They never lead to anything. Well, we did have a photo sent to us by Mrs. Knox. It wasn't very good. Gordon said not to answer it because it would only encourage her. But, well, I didn't think that was very kind, so I wrote back, thanked her, said it was very nice, though it wasn't, and mentioned we were getting married.
Do you still have her address?
I've got all their addresses, as a matter of fact. Gordon got a list. Would that be of use to you?
Oh, very much so.
What is this about?
You remember Mrs. Knighton?
She's on the list.
Yes, small, 60-ish, grey-haired. Her husband's a barrister.
Oh, who read poetry? Yes, I remember him. Silver hair, good-looking man. I remember him, but not her.
Mrs. Knighton's been murdered.
Oh, how awful. Terrible.
That's why I'm trying to trace the people from the train party.
Oh, but surely you don't suspect...
Oh, no. It's just that I'd like to know more about the Knightons.
Oh, how dreadful.
That's why I'd like to talk to your husband.
Yes, of course. Do you have a number?
Oh, yes. And he can call me at home anytime.
List. Now, where was it?
Jack Hayward?
No.
Police.
So?
You're Jack Hayward?
So?
So why lie?
You get used to it round here. What do you want?
I'd like to come in.
Make yourself comfortable.
What you doing at home?
Sick.
And where do you work?
I'm between jobs.
What were you doing Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning?
I'll get a job. I don't need none of this. I'm not at it anymore.
Where were you?
Nowhere. Here. Here.
Witness?
Someone's been putting the poison in. Who? Who? I'll have his eyes. What's this about?
Murder.
I'm a thief. I've never done anyone violence. Check my record.
You threatened a Silk.
What?
Threatened him in court.
Him? Has nothing. Mouth, just mouth.
What was it you were going to do to him and his family?
No one took me seriously.
His wife has been shot.
His wife? Why his wife? I thought you meant... Why kill his wife? It don't make sense. It's 6 years. I couldn't even remember the man's name.
Knighton. Adam Knighton.
Anyone who kills a woman's a nonce in my book. I was here. I can't prove it, but that's it. I was here. I wouldn't kill no one. No more a woman. On my life.
Yes?
Mrs. Fanning?
Yes.
Is Mr. Fanning home?
No.
Well, where could I find him?
I've no idea.
Will he be home this evening?
No.
I need to talk to him. Police.
He's with a party around the Aegean. What's he been up to?
When will he be back?
End of the month. Too soon for me.
You and the council, I've paid my fees. I keep telling them. Give them the number of the cheque.
Police.
Now, hold it. What's all this, then? I haven't done nothing.
Do you remember Mr. Adam Knighton?
That's what got me 5 years, and he was defending me. Should have been 2.
Where were you Tuesday night?
Why? Down the battle.
Battle?
Battle cruiser. Boozer.
Which one?
Your leg. You can check.
And later?
What is this?
Early Wednesday morning.
In me feather. Feather bed. Ask the wife. I'd had a belly full of beer. Kept getting up and go to the toilet.
Here we are. A cup of our favourite poison. It takes a true-born Englishman to fancy a cup of tea at 1p paper. I'm sorry about the other day. I was upset. I didn't mean what I said about Adam and Adela. Milk?
Yes, please.
Sugar?
No, thank you.
It's not what I meant to say. They had to get married, you know.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm doing it again. Adela fell in love with Adam the first moment she saw him at university. He was beautiful. I've heard men of my generation say they suffered terribly from sexual repression when they were young. Far cry from today. Anyway, Adela became pregnant, and there were no two ways about it. Adam had to marry her. But he was in love with someone else.
Who?
Well, not me. No, don't ask. And in September, Julian was born. And then there was Rod, and later on the other two. I used to see quite a bit of them. He was always out. Working, he said.
Or straying?
They moved to Fitzjohn's Avenue. And Adam started taking Adela out a lot. I think she threatened to leave him and take the children with her. He was devoted to his children. I think she had Jennifer and Colum to keep a hold on him. Well, after that, they were quite the model couple. Except they never had a word to say to each other. All the old Adam had gone out of Adam. That's for sure. Well, there's a limit to how much you can put up with a man who doesn't have two words to say to you for hours on end. She had to take me on holiday with her. I couldn't afford it. More tea?
No, thank you.
Well, do you wonder I don't think much of marriage, Mr. Wexford? And that's the marriage I saw at close quarters.
Police, sir.
My turn, is it?
Excuse me?
I heard you're in the neighborhood.
Are you Mr. Burnett?
Yes?
Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
It's a murder, isn't it?
Where were you last Tuesday late?
How late?
1 o'clock.
Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday. Were you up?
I was.
Indoors?
Yes?
Did you see anyone about in the street?
It was very quiet. It usually is at that time, the only time it is. The odd taxi.
Ah, you saw a taxi?
No, I was just explaining.
I must say, I had you down for a teacher.
A teacher? No. I'm afraid I've got some sad news for you. Mrs. Knighton has died.
Oh, no. What did she die of?
She was murdered. I'm going down the list of all the people who travelled across Asia with her. Do you think that you could give me your impression of the Knightons?
Well, I didn't have any impression. They were just, well, quite nice, ordinary people.
And Miss Bell?
A little eccentric, lonely, gossip. I really didn't notice anything out of the ordinary about the Knightons, Mr. Wexford.
I wonder if you could tell me something else. In Hong Kong, when we were in the hotel bar, Mr. Knighton saw something that astonished him, and he started to recite poetry.
Yes, his wife was embarrassed.
What was it?
All the men were looking at her. The girl. Don't you remember? You must remember. She was exquisite.
She's Mrs. Vinald now.
Well, I never.
You'll never guess what's happened.
What?
There's been a murder.
Here?
A woman in the country. A woman who was in China with us, or with Gordon. Oh, and the policeman who was here this morning, he was in China too.
Sounds like Agatha Christie.
She was the wife of a barrister. Good-looking man.
Can I have a drink?
Are you all right?
What are we doing tonight? Are we going to the theatre?
I've told you. I remember very little about it. My memory's been affected by all this.
And the poetry?
I was very moved.
Go on.
By a beauty. Beauty that matched the beauty of China. I mean, the views. Have you ever seen anything like it? Be willing to search for poetry, and there will be poetry.
Don't tell me. Police.
Burden.
Inspector?
You're Perry?
Always tell an inspector. Not a front. Ambitious. Suppose you want to come in? Been on your heels a bit, have you?
Yes, a bit.
Want a cup of tea?
No, thank you.
All right. Let's have you. What do you want?
Mr. Adam Knighton was your...
He saved my life.
Yes, you coshed and killed a night watchman, didn't you?
I was acquitted. And you know that. I'd lay down my life for Mr. Knighton.
Do you know anyone who hates him enough to kill his wife?
I was very grieved to hear of his great loss. And him such a devoted husband.
Anybody prosecuted?
Looks bad for him, does it?
What makes you say that?
You. Chasing old cons.
They were either too old, too fat, or too convincing.
Let's have a look at Knighton's bank account, see if any large sums have gone out since he came back from China.
Yes, one of mine said, why don't you find out who that bastard Knighton paid to do it?
Marriage. Desperate thing. The frogs in Aesop were extreme wise. They wanted water, but they didn't want to jump into the well in case they couldn't get out again. He hates himself.
Knighton?
For something. Where'd your parents go on their previous holidays?
Do you mean since Daddy retired?
Well, go back 5 years.
Mummy had what she called her holiday fund. It was her way of making the best out of her own money. She wanted real travel, so Angus invested it for her, and she drew on it whenever she wanted to go anywhere, like China. Mummy adored travel. Thailand, Java, Mexico, Brazil.
Did she ever go to New Zealand?
Might as well go to Bognor. No, she wanted to go to India and Nepal next, in August. Poor Mummy.
Does your husband?
Yes, Angus collects them.
Well. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye.
When was the last inspection? Yeah. Okay, thank you. He's got a license, all right. Had one for years, since before they were married.
Just for the old stuff?
No, he does have modern weaponry.
But no Walter BBK?
No. It's the first one they checked.
It was not a happy marriage.
Under the circumstances, we took it for granted that you would say that it had been.
In a murder inquiry, you should never take anything for granted, Inspector. My wife felt towards me the way many women feel towards their husbands. I was her possession. She had a right to my continued presence in her life. I don't suppose she ever thought of whether she cared for me or not. I disliked her. As the years went by, I disliked her more and more.
Do you feel that you would like to make a new statement, Mr. Knighton?
I didn't kill her. I disliked my wife, but I bitterly regret her death. I would give everything I have to turn time back.
You were an unwilling husband.
Were you a faithful one?
For 25 years I was. Before that, there was someone.
Yes?
Yes?
I wished to marry, but it was impossible.
What happened?
We partied.
your children.
There's no love like the love for a child.
And your career?
And my career, yes. I had hopes of becoming a judge, but it didn't happen. But I knew it never would happen if I deserted my family for a young actress.
Hello, Thomas.
Who's doing this murder? Doing? The gaffer.
Why?
I want to see him.
Oh, excuse me, Governor. Mr. Bingley says he saw something that night.
I was in the woods, sir, walking.
Yeah, poaching, Governor.
Well, I came here of my own free will.
Thank you, Sergeant. Come in, Mr. Bingley. Is that why you didn't come forward before?
Well, only take a bird or two, sir, no more.
What time?
2:30.
And you saw a man?
Black as a badger's arse it were, but I saw him. Not his face. He was walking down the path to Sowenbury.
Oh, can you describe him?
He had his back to me.
Well, do your best.
Well, he was tall. Yeah, he was tall. Walked fast, grey-haired.
Grey?
Well, unless it were the moonlight, sir.
You said it was dark.
Well, it was moon between the clouds.
Can you pick him out of these?
You said tall.
Could be. I don't know. Well, you don't, do you? I mean, that's a photograph.
Yes?
There's a young lady here who'd like to speak to you, Gov. Miss Elf.
A miss what?
Elf, Gov. Gnomes and fairies. Miss Elf, Gov.
Self.
Bloody silly name.
Oh, please again. What can I do for you?
I've got a friend. He said the police were hanging around HPS.
HPS?
Hyde Park Square.
Oh, I see. You live there? Or your parents live there?
How old do you think I am? 15?
Well, your voice...
I'm 24. I'm a whore. This friend of mine in Stanhope Place, he's one of my gentlemen. Give me a buzz about 8 that Tuesday. So would I come and see him at midnight? 12:30 would be better. He got people for dinner, and by 12:30 they were sure all to have gone.
Where exactly does this gentleman friend live?
One of the houses facing the back of the square. I had another client at 11, St. John's Wood. I left there around 12:20, 12:24. And I took a cab. It got me back to Stanhope Place going on 1.
So you're sure of the time?
My watch is my life.
It's about 1:45.
I was paying off the driver when this old fella came out the back of the house. Ground floor flat. He came across the road and took my taxi.
Did you hear where he told the driver to go?
I wasn't interested. Why should I?
Would you mind describing him for me, please?
Tallish. Grey hair.
Can you pick him out of this group?
Him. That's him. He was nice. Nice looking. Positive.
What was he doing? Taking a taxi at 20 to 1 in the morning when he says he was in bed asleep. He was coming back to Hampshire. The old man did see him. The time's fit. I wonder what pushed him to do it.
Someone once said that every married man has a motive for murder. Who is Mrs. M. Ingram, 29 Thane Court, Cadogan Avenue, London SW1? Poor devil.
You killed her then?
No, I didn't mean that. I think his predicament was a moral one. It was his conscience he couldn't escape from.
Where's Wexford? Wexford?
You want me, sir?
This is your doing, Wexford. You could see the man was ill. For God's sake, his wife had just been murdered. Was there a note, suicide note, anything of that sort?
Something of that sort, sir.
Well, what did it say? You did read it, you would, wouldn't you?
There were two notes. One to the coroner.
And the other?
Where is your wife, sir?
For God's sake, she is 7 months pregnant. She's lost both of her parents in the space of a few weeks. Are you totally insensitive?
I think you'd better calm down, sir.
Who was the other letter for?
Nobody in the family.
I don't believe you.
This is to inform you that on the morning of the 29th of April, I killed my wife, Adela Knighton, by shooting her with a Walter PPK automatic pistol. In consequence of this act, I shall, by the time you read this, have taken my own life. And he signed it. That's all. Short. But it told the coroner everything he needed to know.
I wonder where he got the gun. Come to that, I wonder what he did with it afterwards.
I wonder about a lot of things.
He wanted her dead.
Yeah, but wanting and doing are two different things.
Oh, come on, he must have killed her. Why admit to it if he hadn't?
Well, I don't know.
The man killed himself.
Well, I wonder if Mrs. Ingram can tell us.
When you rang, it rather alarmed me.
I saw you in China.
I was in China recently.
With your daughter?
How strange. Please come in.
course. It's been haunting me ever since. Your face, who you were. Milburn Lang, the film star.
A few years on, you didn't recognize me in China.
Well, I kept looking at your daughter's face and thinking, someone.
She's much more beautiful than I was.
Some could argue that.
Can I get you a drink? Please, sit down.
I believe you knew Adam Knighton.
I know him, yes. Is this about Adela?
I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. He was found dead this morning.
You mean he killed himself?
I'm afraid so.
Adam.
He left you a letter.
It was very kind of you to come personally to tell me.
I'm sure that you would like to read your letter in private. But after that, I'm afraid I do have to see it.
Excuse me.
She was the affair.
Yes, she was the actress.
All those years.
He couldn't forget. Well, how could he?
It was very beautiful.
She still is.
I didn't cry when I read it, but seeing you read it...
Would you like to sit down?
Could you pour me a brandy?
Do you feel that you could talk about this?
He didn't kill her, whatever he said. He couldn't have killed her.
Well, could you talk about it? Because it would probably do you good, and it would be good for me.
Oh.
How did you first meet?
It was at a dinner party. Adela was there. I'd just finished a film called Snow Moth. He'd seen it. His eyes. I shall always remember his eyes. And the way he talked, slowly, softly. His stillness. He rang me the next morning. We saw as much of each other as we could. He still lived with Adela, slept beside her. I think I felt more guilty about it than he did. We were punished. The times we spent together, always rushed, always a race against the clock. He had to get back to his work, to the court, to Adela, to his children. And I had my career. I was the one who broke it off. I met Rex Ingram. He wanted to marry me, to take me away to New Zealand. It seemed far enough away. We didn't write to each other or see each other for 25 years. Not until I walked into that hotel bar in Hong Kong. He must have found out my married name from the hotel register. When I got back to London, he telephoned me.
was just as it had been 25 years ago. There was I with my flat, there was Adam with his wife. We were ruled by the clock as we had been then. I tried to break it off, just as I had before. I told him I was much too old for this sort of thing. That when the lease of this place was up, I'd go back to my home in Auckland. I didn't see him for a little while. And then I read of Alila's murder. He didn't kill her.
In a letter to the coroner, he admitted everything.
He had the motive and the opportunity. He was there.
He was not there. He was here. With me.
Did you believe him?
Well, Knighton isn't the first man that would confess to a murder that he hadn't done.
But why?
Well, he didn't hold the gun or pull the trigger, but he knows who did.
Not someone he paid.
No, it wasn't a direct as that. And it wasn't revenge.
What's left?
The opposite.
I don't follow you.
Gratitude.
Silver Perry. I'd lay down my life for Mr. Knighton. It was him the old man saw, not Knighton.
Hello, Silver. Care for a lift?
I knew you were trouble.
You got an alibi, of course.
You were seen near Theto Hall Farm.
By the woods.
Walking along the footpath to Sowingbury from Theto Vale.
At about 3 in the morning.
You must know the area well.
Or he drew you a map. You were there that night, weren't you?
Oh, he's dead. Nothing can harm him now. I knew what he wanted. And he knew that I knew. I said to him, you don't even have to say it. Just dial my number, and when I answer, you say a word. Any word. Then he started telling me some story about a Chinese Mandarin. That's it, I said. That's the word. Mandarin. Whenever you say that word, I'll know. Yeah, well, one night it came. The call. The word. I knew he was going to London.
How?
Because he told me. And I knew what he meant. I owed him.
A life?
Yeah, for my life. I've had it on my mind all this time. Anyway, I was working till midnight, mini-cabbing, and I got onto this mate of mine. Never mind who, it doesn't matter, it's too late now. Anyway, I got onto this mate to say I'd been with him at a club in case there were any questions. Then I drove out there, parked my car in the square. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know the area. I was evacuated there as a kid. Anyway, I went to the house by the footpath, because it was dark and I moved quickly, you know what I mean, and it didn't take long. I got to the house about 3. I could have had a pane of glass. That took 10 minutes. I got in, took my shoes off, and went upstairs. All the bedroom doors were open, so I went into the big front one, thinking I'd find her there. There was twin beds, and one of them had the bedclothes turned back. When I couldn't find her, I went downstairs again. Yeah, I found her. She was on the floor. She's been shot dead. Yeah, well, I knew what it was. Mr. Knighton had got there before me. So I went back upstairs and I took a jewellery box and a few other bits and pieces. Make it look like a burglary. I didn't kill her.
Mandarin. Sir. Bizarre, isn't it? To kill with a single word. A word like a sword.
What do we do now? Knighton didn't do it. Perry didn't. Who did?
I'm lost.
For God's sake, she is 7 months pregnant.
Totally
This is your doing, Wexford.
Who was the other letter
See,
for?
the man was ill.
For God's sake, his wife had just been murdered.
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
No, not at all. How can I help you?
I'd like to see the statements of accounts of Mr. Angus Norris, please.
Mr. Norris. Yes. May I ask why?
I'm afraid it's confidential. Take a look at these.
I wondered where you were.
I just had to check him out.
Can't stand him, can you?
Can you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Norris.
I have an appointment in 10 minutes.
This won't take long.
What do you want?
To see the accounts of Mrs. Knighton's travel fund.
That could take some little time.
Why?
I don't have the accounting in this office.
Just an approximation.
Of the balance.
I can have it for you by tomorrow morning.
A few thousand?
I can have it for you tomorrow morning.
Mrs. Knighton was planning to go to Nepal and India.
In the summer.
It's the first I've heard of it.
Your wife told us.
Didn't she tell you?
I have another appointment.
She was going to go to India and Nepal, but there was no money, was there?
If she'd found out.
All right, you want to see the accounts?
Yes.
Mike! Don't be a bloody fool.
Get out of my way. Get over there! Make no mistake, I will kill you.
You need to be in the dark. With the back turned.
Blood. Blood on my face. A bone of... piece of bone.
How did you know?
I didn't know. I never liked him or trusted him, but I didn't suspect him. It was just his reaction to Knighton's suicide.
Yes. Wasn't expecting Knighton, was he?
No.
How much does he owe?
He would have taken the 200,000 from the will to cover it.